Hi Libra, this is Tisch Aitken. This is your monthly report for the month of December. I can't believe that this is the final horoscope of the year, but there is a lot to cover, so I'm going to get right into it. So on the final day of November, we have a lunar eclipse that takes place at 8 degrees and 38 minutes of Gemini. And this takes place in your house of romance and creativity. And hopefully it's bringing completion to a creative project you've been working on. Maybe you've been dating somebody and it takes another level. Romance could be a little unpredictable because eclipses are wild cards. You know that there's a heightened sense of activity. There's a lot of action in the sky and in our lives. Unexpected beginnings and endings, major life changes can occur during eclipses. People and circumstances can be eclipsed out of our lives, and people can enter our lives and circumstances out of the blue. But it is a very busy time. Hopefully that's the case, but it is going to be very emotional because it's like a full moon on steroids. Mercury rules the sign of Gemini, and so a lot of information gets uncovered with eclipses. We find out things we never knew about before. We see things in a way we've never seen them before too. So heavy way to begin the month, and Mercury, which rules the sign of Gemini, changes signs on the 1st of December and exits Scorpio, where it's been transiting in your house of income and how you create for the majority of the fall. It enters the sign of Sagittarius in your house of communication and ideas and local neighborhood activity, and it'll be there until December 20th. And this is excellent for networking, for marketing yourself, and for communicating in all sorts of ways. And then we have on the 5th of December, Venus, which is still transiting in the sign of Scorpio in your house of income, forms a beautiful trine to Neptune, which is the higher octave of Venus. Neptune represents the dream, and Neptune's transiting in your 8th house of healing and transformation and joint resources. And that's an excellent aspect for healing around money, around wounds, around healing, all sorts of issues, and just very creative and very magical. So that's a nice day to target. And on the 9th of December, the sun, which is transiting in the sign of Sagittarius in your house of communication, squares Neptune. So you could be feeling a little tired. Maybe you have a misunderstanding. Just get rest and manifest. Any Neptune cycle, try to manifest. Use the higher form of it, because Neptune rules the imagination, and you have to believe it to be true to truly manifest. And on the 13th of December, Mercury squares Neptune, and that can definitely bring miscommunication, but it also is a phenomenal aspect for manifesting, because again, you know, Mercury rules our thoughts and ideas. Journal, meditate, manifest, chant, do whatever you can do, levitate, you know, get out there and try to raise the vibe. And then on the 14th, on the following day, we have a total solar eclipse, and that's a really manifesting new moon eclipse. It occurs at 11:17 a.m. Eastern Time at 23 degrees and 8 minutes of Sagittarius, and it falls in your house of communication. Again, you can expect to be getting some news with all of this energy, and I think being very busy around writing and communicating and networking, lots around communication for you, it feels. And so that is an excellent new moon to manifest. And on the day of the new moon eclipse, Venus, which rules your sign, makes a beautiful aspect to Jupiter, which is an aspect known as a sextile, an aspect of opportunity. Manifest. What do you want to create for 2021? Mercury, which is transiting in Sag, forms a beautiful aspect to Mars, which is the planet of action. And Mars has been in your house of relationships since the end of June, and it will be there until January 6th. So really focusing on what you want to manifest. And then on the following day, on the 15th, Venus forms a helpful aspect to Saturn in Capricorn. And Saturn is all the Capricorn story has been in your house of home and family and real estate. That's where the restructuring in your home, the collapsing of old structures, whether with family or your own security, and the restructuring and the rebuilding. And so that's taking place as well. And then Venus exits the sign of Scorpio and enters Sagittarius in your house of communication, and it'll be there until January 8th. So this is excellent again for promoting yourself, for networking. If you're single, dating, this is, that lunar eclipse is in the house of romance. Good time to meet people, in a safe way. And so, and then we have, let's see here, on the 16th, on the 15th of December, the other big deal for you is that Chiron, which is the wounded healer, stations direct at 5 degrees of Aries in your house of relationships. Chiron in Aries is very much concerned and about wounds around identity and ego and self. And for you, it's in your house of relationships, but you're the sign of relationships. And most Libras I know are hopeless romantics. So it's also finding your own identity in partnerships. And Mars retrograded in your house of partnerships from September 9th until November 13th. Could have brought back old lovers, old relationships, or old shadow issues of what you want to up-level in your relationships. And now that Chiron is stationing direct in that sector, that is also helpful. So that's taking place. And then the really exciting news is on the 16th or the 17th of December, depending on where you live, Saturn leaves the sign of Capricorn and enters the sign of Aquarius. And this occurs at 9:04 p.m. Pacific time on December 16th, or 12:04 a.m. Eastern time on December 17th, or adjust it to whatever time zone you're in. And Saturn enters Aquarius, where it'll be transiting until March of 2023. And it'll be transiting in your house of romance and creativity. So this is really where you're building form. Maybe you've been working a lot, not making time for that area of your life. Maybe you want to carve more time for your creativity. And then on December 19th, Jupiter, which is the luckiest planet, enters the sign of Aquarius, where it'll be transiting on and off until December 29th of 2021. So if you're single, this is an excellent year next year for romance and creativity, but also gleaning the lessons of Saturn, of what you want to work on, and then reaping the benefits of Jupiter, bringing a lot of opportunities for fun and romance and creativity. And I know that we're all going through a really, really difficult time. So I'm not saying this in a Pollyannic way, but I do mean that it'll give us a lot of give you a lot of optimism for some joy in a year and a time of rebuilding. And that's a nice thing. So you've got Jupiter in your house of fun and creativity and inner child, and hopefully really, working on that area of your life, because if anything this year has shown us is that life is so short, and we've all been working in really difficult circumstances. So that is big, big news. And the day that Jupiter enters Aquarius, if I get the sign right, when it enters Aquarius, Venus trines Chiron, the wounded healer. So Chiron is transiting again in your house of relationships. Venus is transiting in Sag, and that to me shows that through connection. Aquarius is about community and humanitarianism and finding your tribe, and it's about finding connection, I really feel. And that way, and knowledge and enlightenment and alternative ways of thinking. Through that, we heal through love, and I think that this is a big deal. And the sun is conjunct Mercury that day as well, which means that there's going to be so much enlightenment and so much learning that we're all going to be engaging in the next few years, which is very exciting. And so then on the 20th of December, Mercury exits the sign of Sagittarius and enters Capricorn, where it'll be transiting in your house of home and real estate, and it'll be there until January 8th, more focused around the home. If maybe you're working from home and you're getting your space rearranged, or maybe you're dealing a lot with family at that time. And on the 21st of December, we have the winter solstice, and the sun stops still. And we reflect on the year we've had, and a lot of reflection. I don't have to say that. And then we reflect on what we want 2021 to be. And this solstice is really special because at 1:21 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturn joins up with Jupiter in the sky at 0 degrees and 29 minutes of the fixed air sign of Aquarius. And I welcome you to the age of Aquarius. That is exciting because a lot of new possibility, a lot around connection, and that's a fellow air sign. You know, communication, connection, that's what we need. And I'm very excited about that. And then on the 24th of December, Mercury, which is transiting in your house of learning, forms a beautiful trine to Uranus in Taurus, and Mercury's in your house of family at that point, and it's transiting, it's forming a trine to Uranus and Taurus, and that's very innovative energy and really creative too, and that's helpful. And then on the 25th or the 26th, depending on where you live, the sun in Capricorn squares Chiron in Aries, and that for you could deal with family and home, and realistically, again, we'll all be reconciling a lot around pain and wounds this year, and this is just a very difficult time. So that will be a part of the makeup at that time too. But on the 27th, the sun rather, forms a trine to Uranus. And that to me is very innovative and giving us a preview of the brilliance that the age of Aquarius has in store for us. And then on the 29th of December, we have a full moon that takes place at 10:28 p.m. Eastern Time in your house of career. And it occurs at 8 degrees and 53 minutes of Cancer in the sign it rules. I think having a full moon close to the end of the year is fitting because it's been such a tough time. Capricorn and Cancer have been so much in the spotlight because this has been the year of reconstruction with Capricorn, and Cancer is the opposite sign, and the eclipses were in the Cancer-Capricorn axis. So for you, a lot of change has been going on around career and home and family. Those were where the eclipses occurred for you. So this full moon and the sign it rules, saying goodbye to these eclipses of this year. We already did, but really doing so, and also letting us realize the loss we've all felt, and connecting us to that too, because Cancer represents family and home. And on the last day, on December 31st, the moon is in Leo, and the final influence it makes is trine to Chiron, the wounded healer. And Leo rules the heart chakra, and Chiron is around wounds. So that to me also gives a beautiful preview of the age of Aquarius that we will heal through love. So I wish you a lot of luck, and thank you very much, Libra. Take care.